if I'm getting started now, trying to be more financially educated, how do I start setting something up where I'm always saving some money, investing some money, and having some money to spend? And a very simple way to do this is to follow something like a 75-15-10 plan. If you watched any of my educational videos, I've talked about this quite a few times. And what this says now is for every dollar that you earn, 75 cents is the maximum that you can spend. 15 cents is the minimum that you invest. 10 cents is the minimum that you save. This way now, every time you make a dollar, that dollar has a job. 75 cents is the maximum you can spend on your housing, on your cars, on your vacations, on your food, on your clothes, on your anything that you want to buy. 15 cents is what you're going to put into your investments as a minimum. Now we can get into the nitty gritty as to where you're going to invest. Are you going to buy index funds? Are you going to buy rental properties? Are you going to go out and invest in startups? But the reality is this money is what is going to be invested. You can also use this money to help pay down your debts faster. You can also use this money to help invest in your own business idea. You could also use this money to invest in your own knowledge. That way you can increase your career, that way you can increase your income. But the whole idea here is you're going to invest this money to help grow your wealth. This is the money you're going to use to protect your wealth. Because the reality is you got to have some protection, because if something were to go wrong tomorrow, if you lost your job, if your kid got sick, if your wife got sick, if your husband got sick, if something happened and you needed some money, you got to have a fallback plan. Because the reality is most Americans unfortunately have no savings, and what you don't want to do is have no savings and have no extra money left over. Now you got to go into credit card debt to protect your family, or now you got to sell off your investments to pay off this medical bill, to pay off your bills because you had no extra savings. Because these investments, well, the goal is to sit there and let them compound and grow. And if you just sell them every time an emergency happens, you never give your money any time to compound and grow. And this is where your investments are not your emergency money. This is your emergency money, which is why you want to plan for that, which is why you want to budget for that. And this is where you don't have to get too crazy and say, oh my God, I can only designate $38.48 a month on going out to movies. It doesn't have to be like that. As long as you can understand your spending money is not all of your money. And then you have some money for investments, you have some money for your savings, it can be a whole lot simpler and a whole lot freer. But I also want you to understand that if you really want to take your finances to the next level, you have to track your money, because that tracking of your money is going to help you visualize the way that you spend your money, and it's also going to help you find ways to optimize how you're using your money. Let me show you. You will see every sort of sophisticated business owner do this because they want to track and optimize their money, because that's what's going to help them build the most wealth for their business. And this is something that I want you to implement for your personal finances as well. You're going to create a profit and loss statement for your personal finances. And a profit and loss statement is a simple statement that shows your income minus your expenses. Now, in order for this to work, you have to get serious about actually writing every single piece of money going in and out of your bank account. That means you got to pull out your bank statement, your credit card statements, your debit card statements, and now take a look at where the money is going and how it's flowing. That means number one, how did the money hit your bank account? Did it come from your job? Did it come from your business? Did it come from your side hustles? Did it come from your other freelancing gigs? Write down where all of your money came from in the last month. Then below that, write down all of your expenses. And yes, you need to do every single one. I don't care if it was 14 cents included here, because you want to know where your money is going. Put down all of your expenses, and after you have all of your expenses, write down how much money did you invest? How much money did you save? How much money did you give to charity? You need to know where your money is going. And now you want to start tracking this month after month after month. This made a huge change in my business. I run Briefs Media. When we started doing this years ago, it was a very big insight now to see how money is flowing. Because unless you start tracking it, you can't see how much money you're spending on advertising, how much money you're spending on rent, how much money you're spending on your meals and entertainment. Well, until you can visualize it, you can't track it and optimize it. And this is where I want you to spend an hour a month doing this with your finances. If you're married, get your spouse involved with this too, because this is going to help you understand that if you want to have a systemized budget, you got to make sure that this number is less than this number. Because if that's not the case, well, you already have a broken budget. Then the next thing you want to do is when you spend money here on your expenses, that your expenses are less than this when you take a look at buying things with cash. Meaning, if the numbers here are less than this because you're buying everything with buy now, pay later, you're buying everything with 0% APR financing, that is a failed budget. That means you got to spend your money here on your expenses buy them with cash and let these expenses be less than your income. Once you do that, you're winning in your budget. Then the next thing you want to do is make sure that you're spending less money here than here, but then you also have money for your savings. You also have money for your investments. You also have money to give. Now you have a winning budget because you're making money, you're spending less than what you make, you're buying things with cash, you're not financing your purchases. The only exception to this is your home. And yes, you should not be financing your car either. And then you have money to save, you have money to invest, and you have money to give. Now you have a winning budget. Now you have the recipe to build wealth, because the reality is wealth is built through your investments. It's not built through your savings. It's not built through buying a whole bunch of fancy and expensive things. If you want to become wealthy, you have to invest your money, but the only way for you to invest your money is if you don't spend all of your money. And that requires you to have a system to make sure you're not spending all the money that you bring in. And that's what your budget is. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.